Hey, it's A Humble Collector here, and in today's video we have another unboxing. As the previous several, this will be mostly death cards. This one does actually have some photos in it, I think, in the last package. Without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started. I'm going to take my coat off, actually. It's a bit cold out here, but I think we'll be alright. Yeah, I bought these a while ago, so I'm not 100% sure on what all's in here. I guess we'll see. Well, that didn't open that at all. Alright, let's try that again. There we go. Alright, let's see what we got here. Get this last corner out. There we go. Alright, HCOM backing. Let's see what the front looks like. Michael Schlierk, Landwirt's son von Freihofen. He was a flyer. Oh, yeah, so Michael here was a flyer and then became a grenadier and was killed on December 16th, 1942. So this is interesting. I'm wondering if he volunteered to switch to the infantry or if he actually was a member of one of the Luftwaffe Feld divisions that we've talked about a bit on the channel. But yeah, I've never seen that mentioned on the card, like he was a flyer, then became a grenadier. It's kind of neat. Something you don't see super often. And moving on to the next card here. This one looks like it'll be a bit easier to open. Alright, looks like we do have some papers from the seller here, so let me get those out of the way. Make sure nothing else is left in the envelope. Alright, so this envelope should have the card in it. Yeah, this is from somebody I've never bought from before, actually, up in Canada. Let's take a look here. Alright, so we have Franz Bauer here. Veteran of the War, 1939-1945. And then I don't think there's a date of death on here, oddly enough. But yeah, there's definitely a post-war card. Kind of interesting. Glossy, and I've never seen like these full size panels. So yeah, definitely a post-war card, but pretty interesting. Then we have Aloy Weinzierl, or Weinzierl here. I figure out how to pronounce that. Gefreiter in a Panzer Regiment, bearer of the Iron Cross 2nd Class. Who was killed November 30th, 1943, at the age 21, and followed his brother Joseph, who died 4 months earlier, I believe. So what's really neat about this one, so this is Aloy here, and I'm assuming this little picture, this is an actual picture, by the way, that's glued to the front of the card here must be, his brother Joseph. So really interesting. I'm looking forward to doing research on those two. You see brothers cards occasionally, but usually they're like 4 panels, and you have one brother on one on the other, so really interesting the way they decided to do this one. And then the last card here from that group is Aloy Ruland, bearer of the Iron Cross 2nd Class, the Krim Shield, the Kraft Farbe Warungsabs in silver. Can't remember what that is. Eastern Front medal, some kind of Romanian medal it looks like. So yeah, lots of awards there, some stuff I'll have to look up. But he was killed August 11th, 1944, after 5 years of service. Yeah, nice long list of awards there. You like to see that because that leads to some interesting research usually. Now moving on, I've mentioned in a couple of unboxings, admittedly some of them didn't turn out, so I'm not sure if any of the ones where I actually mentioned this got published, but I've been buying, a little over a dozen cards a month from this guy for the past year, and this, I believe, is my last lot of cards from him. But there's actually some really interesting stuff in here that I have not seen or had in my collection before. So starting off here, we have Corbinian Nysel, Order St. Benedict, Sanitata Medical Company, who was made his solemn vows on May 17th, 1931, became a priest August 25th, 1935, and died in Feodosia on December 29th, 1941. We also have Josef Richtmann here, who became a priest on June 29th, 1931, and was a medic and fell in Bryansk Sud, or south of Bryansk, I'm guessing, on August 16th, 1943. Yeah, normally when you find priests on death cards, they usually are in like medical units, I've noticed. Unfortunately, this one's got a tear on it, but this one's Franz Bruckmüller, who died October 9th, 1943, in the heavy fighting in the East at the age of 20. Then we have a pretty interesting card here, Berta Speckner, and she's a Fliegerhelferin, so a, something helper, flyer helper, something. But she was killed in an air raid on Munich on January 7th, 1945. And HCOM 306 backing. So yeah, pretty interesting there. There's a few others here. I think this is the only other card that I have for like a not military person, at least from this lot. This is Rosa Preuss, who on August 17th, 1943, was killed by an air attack on Ossisbung, at the age of 21 and a half. Interestingly, she has some kind of patch there, so I'm guessing she's come up, some kind of maybe flak helper, or like the Luftschütz. I'm not really sure. I'll have to do more research, but I've never seen cards like these for kind of like civilian auxiliaries, so those are kind of neat. Let's see. And we have Johann Schaller here, Gefreiter and Infantry Regiment, killed September 16th, 1941 in the East. Actually, pretty nice backing there. And then we have Georg Soller von Haslock, Obergefreiter in an infantry regiment, bearer of the Iron Cross Second Class, veteran of the campaigns in Poland, France, and the Balkans, who on October 20th, 1941, died in the fighting in Crimea at the age of 27 years and 5 months. Pretty interesting. We have Josef Kroll here, veteran of service, I guess, from 1939-1942, who died on September 18th, 1943, at the age of 28. And there's something about religion there. It's going to be interesting. Then we have Hans Froller, an Obergefreiter in an infantry staff company, I'm guessing. Veteran of the campaigns of Poland and France, fell on September 1st, 1941, from a piece of shrapnel at the age of 24 and a half in the heavy fighting in Russia. So World War I cards, you see the cause of death a lot. Not so much on World War II cards. That's interesting. They specified he was killed by shrapnel. That'll be an interesting one to research. Then we have Rudolf Suss here, Gefreiter in a pioneer battalion who died on February 14th, 1943 at the age of 36. This is kind of an odd card. Paper quality just seems odd, and yeah, I don't know. For some reason, that one just feels kind of strange to me. Moving on, Nikolaus Grosser, Obergefreiter in a motorized battalion who was killed July 10th, 1941 at the age of 24. Pretty nice backing there as well. Then we have some brothers here. So we have Obergefreiter Ludwig Virkart and Sanitator Unterofficer Otto Virkart. So Ludwig was killed September 29th, 1943, heavy fighting in the East at the age of 29. His brother was the bearer of the Iron Cross Second Class, the Infantry Assault Badge, the Wound Badge, and the Eastern Front Medal. And he was killed February 21st, 1943, at the age of 33. Interestingly, we see that Otto has a pin there. I'm assuming that's like a party pin, but I'll have to like get it under magnification. And interestingly, Ludwig here in his photo has this collar tab that seems to show 29, I'm thinking. But yeah, pretty neat card. And then, yeah, we have this cross motif. I don't think I've seen the two brothers' names on the same cross before. It's kind of interesting. Moving on here, we have a card with a very old tape repair. This is probably several decades ago. For Franz Winkler and Josef Winkler. So Franz was a soldier in a grenadier regiment who was killed, or died September 8th, 1943 in a reserve field hospital in Vienna at the age of 21. And what, Lungendurschutzes? So I guess he must have been shot in the lungs? That's pretty neat. I didn't even notice that first time I looked at this card. And then Josef here, bearing the Iron Cross First, Second Class, Silver Assault Badge, the Close Combat Clasp, and the Wound Badges, who was wounded on March 8th, 1944 in the East, and died on March 26th, 1944 at a field hospital at the age of 25. And then their photos are on the back here. So I'm guessing probably what, this is Franz, and then this is probably Josef. It would help if he had his medals on, but I'm assuming that's how that works. We have another card here for Aloy Kreilinger, a sanitator in a Gebersjäger regiment who fell on August 7th, 1941 by Uman in Ukraine. Became a priest in 1938. Pretty interesting. Then we have Johann Meyer, a Gefreiter in infantry regiment who died at the age of 21 on July 8th, 1941 in the fighting in the East. And we have a nice reused World War I type backing there, as you can see. It's pretty cool. And we have Aloy Graf, Obergefreiter in infantry regiment, veteran of the campaigns in Poland, France, and Yugoslavia, who fell near Ploty, Russia, at the age of 27 years, 6 months, on July 28th, 1941. And then we have, actually, another civilian here, Hilda Hoff, Luftnachrichtenhelferin, so a Luftwaffe communications helper, I'm assuming, who was killed March 24th, 1943, at the age of 20. It's a bit of a worn-out card there. Not quite as worn out as this last one. So, Johann Hocht, a Gefreiter in a Grenadier regiment, who died after being heavily wounded near Krasnodar on February 9th, 1943, at the age of 30. So, super worn out. Photo's basically gone. But there's enough info there I should be able to research him. So, that'll be a good opportunity. Maybe I'll be able to find another copy of his card online. It's a little bit better condition. So moving on here, I think this is some World War I cards, but don't hold me to that, because again, this is a package I've had for a little bit here. I normally try to save up till I have at least a few, so sometimes there's weeks between me filming unboxings and stuff sits, and I kind of forget what I have. Alright, I think we'll anything else in that mailer. Get that opened up here. Alright, yeah, we got a few cards in there. Oh, World War II cards. Interesting. This is a guy I normally buy a lot of World War I stuff from, but, so let's get through here. So we have Otto Flemmer, who, what is MA? That's probably a Marine of some kind, right? Yeah, Marine Lazarus. So he died in a Marine field hospital, so I'm guessing he's, interesting. Yeah, his name's there, Otto Flemmer. Killed 21st December 1943. And there's some info there about how he died, but I don't know what those words mean, so I'll have to look it up later. Working on my German, still not there yet. And we have another, this is actually a really good card for Ludwig Buchel, Oberfeldwebel, an infantry regiment, bearer of the Iron Cross, 2nd class, the infantry assault badge, veteran of the campaigns in Poland, Belgium, France, and Russia, who fell in the heavy fighting in the East on March 2nd, 1942, at the age of 28. You can see his infantry assault badge on there, as well as his ribbon. And then he also has the shoulder tabs visible. It looks like 61, I'm thinking. Yeah, pretty interesting. And moving on here, we have Herr Johann Bildel, Gefreiter in a Panzer Abwehr Einheit. I know the word Einheit, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But he was killed December 16th, 1943, at the age of 35, by an artillery shot in Kessel by Nebel. So that's pretty interesting. Good detail there, artillery shot. Like I said, you don't see that too often on World War II cards. So that's pretty cool. And then we have, Karl Hausmann here. This card's very close to falling apart. I'll have to be careful. Who was wounded on July 25th, 1944 in Lemberg and died 4 days later on July 29th. I think I've seen that backing before. It's pretty cool. And then the last card here, we have Josef Soldenwagner, who was born November 16th, 1916, veteran of the campaigns in Poland, France, Greece, and Crete. He's a troop Führer in a Gebersjäger regiment, and died October 7th, 1942, in the heavy fighting in the East. You can actually see the top of his infantry assault badge there. It's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty good cards. Now, this last mailer has some photos in it. Trying to figure out how to open this since there's labels on the other side. Oh, probably like that. But yeah, there's a death card in here, and then there's some photos. And death card's actually pretty interesting because it has some additional stuff that comes with it. If I can get through the last bit of tape here on the corner. This pocket knife is about 100 years old and not very sharp. It belonged to my great-grandfather, actually. I need to sharpen it at some point. Now, I've dealt with this seller before, and sometimes he puts a second label somewhere in the mailer, so if there's a cut here, you know why. As I thought, there was indeed a label on the back of this envelope that was in that mailer, so we'll go ahead and dig in here. You notice that package shrank quite a bit. Like I said, I think there's only that death card, its associated stuff, and then I think I only got like 2 or 3 photos from this update that he did. Is there going to be another label? That's the real question. Are we going to get 2 cuts here? No, I don't think we are. All right, so let me take these out. So, actually, let me look at these off camera here real quick. So I think there is one casualty photo in here, and don't need to give YouTube a better reason to get rid of my channel. Yep, set that aside. But yeah, so the first one we have here, this is a nice postcard print. So you'd have the photo printed off, and then you know, be able to send it home with some words. We have a soldier in a trench here. Really good. You know, we have an EK1 there, Iron Cross First Class Infantry Assault Badge. He's got his ribbons there on his buttonhole. And interestingly enough, in the background, we can see he has a PPSH submachine gun. We can see a shelter half there that's draped over. His helmet there, mess kits. Really cool trench scene. And it's actually dated to December 9th, 1940. Which is pretty neat. Which actually does not make a whole lot of sense. Wait, because 1940, that'd be pre-Barb. Right? I'm not going crazy. So, how does he have a PPSH then? Interesting. Very interesting. I'll have to do more research into that, but that's pretty cool. And then the last items here, if I pull all these out, so you can see we have some SS photos here, several copies of the same photo actually, and then the death card of Helmut Geist, SS Grenadier, killed October 26, 1944, and as you can see, here he is. So, interestingly, it looks like they used this photo and then blanked out the background, I'm thinking. Because if you look, this looks like the exact same pose and everything, minus the trees that are in the background there. Maybe I'm crazy. But yeah, so it's not often you get death cards with actual photos of the guy, and these are pretty worn out. They must have been stashed up in an attic for a while. And then, yeah, Helmut Geist, this one's named on the back. Yeah, pretty neat. You do occasionally see death cards that have, like, the photos, you know, alongside them, but not super often. I don't think I have any examples in my collection, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, overall, it was a really good update. Lots of good cards in there that you'll probably see videos on in the next few decades. Certainly not planning on going anywhere, so assuming the channel stays up, we will keep doing that. But yeah, some really interesting photos there. Death cards, all kinds of death cards, civilians, military, priests, everything. And yeah, just overall, really cool stuff. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. Thank you all for watching. Happy collecting, and I'll see you all again very soon.